Alright, we're here with week 5 of the PPL Season 2 Division 2. You'll notice that there's no pre-game promo for this week. I've been busy, I was doing a 24-hour stream, I didn't have time. I've been giving you guys so much for this week. You can't expect me to do a promo as well. Ellie, whatever hopes you had of me doing a promo against you, you're not worth it, okay? You're quite frankly not worth my time. Alright? Now, to this match. Ellie has elected to bring Kingdra, Mamoswine, Crobat, Mega Scizor, Mew, and Heatran. And you should know what I'm bringing, because you should watch my team builder video. And if you still haven't realized that you should be watching my team builder videos to realize what I'm bringing to these games, there is something seriously wrong with your head. Like, seriously, seriously wrong. Okay? Right. Now that's out the way, she didn't bring Gastrodon. Power Herb, Solar Beam on Pyroar is going to do nothing. Really selfish decision on Ellie's part. But she did bring a lot of things I was expecting. Mega Scizor and Heatran. She brought the Mamoswine. She brought the Crobat. She brought the Mew. It was pretty much the 6 I was expecting. Although I was expecting maybe 7 or 8. And she did bring 6 out of those 7 or 8 that were the possible. So, yeah, there's that. I'm going to have to try and burn things. That would be nice, and I'm going to have my prediction game on point, because she does have the Mega Scizor and the Heatran. I do have 3 Mons with fire coverage and hidden power ground. I do have 3 Mons that do that, so I'm going to have my predictions on point if I do want to try and take down the Mega Scizor and the Heatran. So, let's get into this match, and let's see how things go. Now, what's going to happen here is I'm going to issue the challenge to Ellie, because of course, as always, I'm the dominant one here. She's going to like to lead with her Heatran, as I am going to lead with the Pyroar. Now, I do have Hidden Power Ground in this guy, and I am just going to go for it turn 1. I was expecting her to try and scout for it. I do have Unnerve, so even if she has a Shucker Berry, it's not going to matter. But she does scout for it, and she does go into a Crobat, but I did just make the safe play on turn 1 and go for that HP Ground. Now, I'm going to have to switch out, and I have my dedicated switch into Crobat, which is my Ampharos. I was hoping if she goes for a U-turn, I can still paralyze it with the Static. That'd be great. She does go for that U-turn as expected, and it does not much, and we don't paralyze it with the Static, which is a bit annoying. Come on, Ampharos, you're better than that, man. You gotta start paralyzing things with the Static. In comes back in the Heatran, and I expected her to go for a Stealth Rock, expecting me to switch, and she does exactly that. She goes for the Stealth Rock, as I'm gonna go for a Bulldoze, and she does reveal the Shucker Berry, which is great. So now that I have popped that, it means that future ground attacks are going to be doing a lot more against this Heatran. I'm going to drop her speed. Now this turn, I did expect to outspeed her, but I don't, as she goes for the Lava Plume. It does a respectable amount of damage to Ampharos, and I do actually get burned, which is a bit annoying. I'm going to go for Focus Blast, and I miss, which is annoying. It wouldn't have killed the Heatran, but it would have done a lot of damage, Now I expected her to go for some kind of non-attacking move like Toxic or something like that. Expected her to overprotect, and I'm going to go for a Volt Switch, get a nice amount of damage off against this Heatran. And I'm going to switch out, which is great. I predicted that nicely. Now I'm going to go into Hitmonlee, and I can scare it out with some kind of fighting move. Now, I was debating going for Stone Edge, expecting the Crobat, but I opted to just go straight for a high jump kick, as she is going to switch in her Mega Scizor, which of course isn't Mega yet. I'm just going to go straight for a high jump kick. This connects, and you can see it does a lot of damage. It doesn't quite kill, but fearing the Bullet Punch, I am going to switch out, and I'm going to go into my Weezing, which is my dedicated switch into this Mega Scizor. As she is going to switch out as well, possibly fearing a Mach Punch from that Hitmonlee, and she's going to go out into her Crobat, which is okay. But once again, I am actually going to switch out into my Ampharos, once again expecting the U-turn and hoping that I could potentially paralyze this thing with Static, and it could be a lot easier to deal with. As I realize Ampharos has kind of done all it needs to this match. It's already being sacked off because of that burn. We're really wearing it down, and we still don't paralyze it because Darkflight needs to get a bit more accustomed to the Nidoqueens Park Rangers. He's still getting into it, so we'll let him off for this week. Okay, we'll let him off for this week. He is going to go down to burn from that Lava Plume, and now I have to try and figure out what to bring in against this Mamoswine, and I do opt to bring in the Weezing. I was fearing, if I brought in Pyroar, I was fearing the Scarf Mamoswine. If I brought in the Hitmonlee, I'd reveal my Scarf and all that stuff, so I didn't want to do that. So, she's going to switch out into a Heatran, fearing the Willow, and I am going to predict that and go for the Hidden Power Ground. And you can see here, it doesn't kill the Heatran, it just misses out on the KO. which is really annoying because now this Heatran can outspeed me and do a lot of damage. I'm going to switch out and I'm going to go into my Slowking, expecting the Lava Plume. I'm hoping to take that. I'm going to do a bit of pivoting around her right now. I did switch into Slowking to take the Lava Plume because it does mean if she burns me, that means she can't poison me, she can't toxic me, which would be much better for me. So, she doesn't burn me. Now fearing the Toxic, I'm going to go out into Pyroar because Pyroar doesn't mind being poisoned too much, doesn't mind being toxic, because I can still, fire off the hits. It's not the bulkiest thing, it's not going to be taking hits for days, so I figured it might be nice for him to try and to take that poison so I can do a nice amount of damage to something. Now here, I didn't necessarily expect her to keep her Heatran, so I am going to go for the Dark Pulse. I didn't want to go for HP Ground in case she wanted to switch, but I didn't expect her to switch anyway. She does actually switch out and go into a Crobat, so I'm glad I didn't go for HP Ground. I do go for the Dark Pulse because it was a safe middle, just to try and hit something on her team. Does a nice little chunk against this Crobat. Now I expected her to go for a U-turn, so I am actually going to stay in and go for a Fire Blast. She goes for the Acrobatics. We live this Acrobatics on 3 HP, we go for a Fire Blast, and we miss! Again. The second miss of the game. And Pyro's going to go down to Poison. Now again, that Fire Blast probably wouldn't have killed the Crobat, but it would have done a huge amount of damage to it, and that's really annoying. Now I'm going to bring in the Slowking, and I know she's going to go for a U-turn, but I'm just going to go for a Scald, because she doesn't have too much that wants to take this Scald in particular. So, that's absolutely fine. She's going to switch out, she's going to do the U-turn, not going to do too much damage, and she's going to sack off her Heatran at this point. It's going to go down to the Scald, which is great. But of course, if we'd have hit that Focus Blast on the Heatran before from Ampharos, it would have meant that that Hidden Power Ground from Weezing would have killed, wouldn't have been able to poison my Pyroar. My Pyroar maybe could have hit his Focus Blast, wouldn't have died to poison. Lots of different things could happen. Now, in comes Mega Scizor, and I'm fearing the U-turn, so I'm going to go into my Weezing, because this U-turn will literally do nothing to this Weezing, and if she doesn't go for U-turn, I can scare it out with a Burn. Now Heatran's gone. That she has no immunity to fire anymore, which is great, so I can potentially burn, whatever on her team. She is going to opt to go for the U-turn, and she's going to switch out, and she's going to go into her Kingdra when she comes in here. Now, my best switch into Kingdra is my Slowking. It's not the most specially defensive mon this week. It is Assault Vest though, so I'm hoping I can take hits from this Kingdra decently well. I need to keep my Weezing healthy. I still need to switch into Mamoswine and Mega Scizor, so I'm going to switch out straight into my Slowking. And she is going to opt to go for... We can see I'm a nice amount of HP again. And she is going to go for the Draco Meteor. And you can see from this damage, once this animation goes off, you can see this does a respectable chunk. But I can take another one because of special attack drops, which is great. You can see she's Life Orb as well. I expected her to switch out here. I did not expect her to go for another Draco because I didn't think she'd just want to take that kind of damage. And it doesn't do that much, but it does mean that it's going to neuter my Regenerator. I don't have Slacker from this guy. I am Assault Vest, so I am going to have to rely on Regenerator. But I didn't think she was going to stay in, so I do go for the Dragon Tail just to try and phase her around and screw up her plans. We do score a crit on that, which is nice. She does bring in the Crobat. Now I'm going to have to switch, fearing the U-turn, to try and get some Regenerator back. So I can get to a nice amount of HP, but I'm going to go into my Weezing, hoping she's going to go for a U-turn, but she does go for the Acrobatics, which is a bit annoying. Again, Weezing's now worn down, it can't switch into Mega Scizor or the Mamoswine, which is really annoying. And she is going to go for a U-turn at this point. I was hoping that she was going to U-turn into something like the Mamoswine, or she was going to try and stay in, go for an Acrobatic, so I'm going to go for a Pain Split, but she does go out into the Kingdra, which means that I'm not going to get much back from this Pain Split whatsoever. Only 4 HP I get back. Now I don't really have too many switch-ins to this Kingdra anymore. I feel like Slowking was a bit too important to just switch in. She is going to go for the Scald, and Weezing is going to go down, which is a bit annoying. Now I've lost my switch into Mamoswine and to Mega Scizor, so it's not the best. Now though, now I know she's Life Orb, I can outspeed with Hitmonlee because I am Scarf. Now I can scare her out. Now, do I go for Stone Edge expecting the Crobat? I do. I'm going to go for Stone Edge expecting the Crobat switch in, but she switches in the Mamoswine of all things against a Hitmonlee. And I'm going to go for Stone Edge. This is not going to do that much against her at all. And now I'm going to have to switch out because I am Scarfed, and this Mamoswine can do a huge amount of damage. Now, I'm going to switch in the Slowking as she is going to go for a knockoff, and Slowking just straight up dies from this knockoff. which is a nice play on her part, but I didn't have much else I could do. I mean, I was scarfed with Hitmonlee, so there's that. But we do see she is also Life Orb, so Hitmonlee here, Michaels, does actually still outspeed her, which is great. I was hoping I could scare her out with a potential Mach Punch, which she does. She does switch out, fearing the Mach Punch, which is great. I don't actually have it, but she does switch out, fearing it, and she goes into her Crobat. As this time I go for a high jump kick. I could have gone for the Stone Edge that time, but Ellie is just, she's using something to get into my head that's just straight up not fair. She has some kind of, like, psychic power or something. She has something that's getting into my head, and that's just straight up not fair. Now, I'm going to switch into Mega Absol. She is going to go for an Acrobatics, and we do actually take it, which is great. Now, I knew she was going to be expecting the Sucker Punch, so she's going to switch out, which is fantastic, which means I'm going to Mega Up, and I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse, as she switches in her Mew. I was like, okay, let's see how much this Dark Pulse does to this Mew. I'm going to Mega Up, and of course, I don't have Sucker Punch, but she thinks I do, which is great. I'm going to fire off the Dark Pulse, and this does a really, really nice chunk against this Mew. But now this next turn gets very interesting. She's Choice Scarf, then she goes for Transform, and turns into my own Mega Absol. As I'm going to go for another Dark Pulse, and that Mega Absol down, which is fantastic. So some fun shenanigans from Ellie, but Ellie, don't get too cocky, alright? I still managed to take it down. In comes the Mega Scizor, and I know she can kill me with a Bullet Punch, but there's not much I can do at this point. Mega Absol's down, but Mega Absol finally got a kill, guys. It finally got a kill in the season. Fantastic. Now in comes the Hitmonlee. Depending on her investment, I can maybe live a Bullet Punch from this range, so I'm going to attempt it. She's going to go for the Bullet Punch, and we live it on 6 HP. I'm going to go for the high jump kick, and that Mega Scizor is down, which is fantastic. It means I get another kill against her team, which is fantastic. Now, she brings in her Crobat again. Is it too much health for me to kill with high jump kick? And which is a bit annoying because, again, if I'd have hit that Fire Blast from Pyro, she would have been massively weakened. And then maybe I could have taken her out with that high jump kick. She's going to take me out with Acrobatics. That's the game. So we do lose against her, and it's a 3-0 loss. But whatever psychic ability that Ellie has to get into people's heads, it's not fair. She knew I was going for a Stone Edge, so she switched in her Mamoswine, and then she knew I was going for a high jump kick later, so she switched in a Crobat. So it's just, whatever psychic ability she has, it's not fair. So I am going to be filing an inquiry into the PPL. I'm going to speak to the other admins of the PPL, and we'll see if we can get a kind of solution to this, because obviously it's not fair for her to use these powers in these matches. It's just straight up not fair. You can see it's resulted in a 3-0 loss for me, and I absolutely categorically would have won that match if she didn't use those psychic powers, so, you know, and she obviously, I guess some of her powers as well must be to try and manipulate the game, get some misses in her favour, you know, miss a Focus Blast and a Fire Blast in that match. She got the burn off the Lava Plume, I didn't get Static twice, so whatever powers she has, they're not fair. So I am filing an inquiry. I will keep you guys updated on the status of that inquiry and see what solutions can be made. But as of now, Ellie is running rampant in the PPL. It's the reason she's undefeated this season, that she's using these unfair kind of powers that she has to try and manipulate the games in her favour. So, you know, what can you do against a player that's just that unfair? You know, we took the loss. But I'm going to take the loss like a man. I'm not going to complain about it, but I am going to file an inquiry for future battlers' sake. You know, for any future battlers that have to face Ellie, I'm going to file an inquiry and see what we can do for future battles. But I'm going to take this loss like a man. I'm not going to complain, although it is really, really, really unfair, and I really should have won that match. The Focus Blast and the Fire Blast miss were so unfair, but I'm not going to complain. Ish. And next week, we're going to look to get a win. So next week is actually the week break. It's going to be a week break, but when we come back, we're going to be facing the newcomer into the league. This is the replacement for Chaos in the Sky, who ran away from the league before he had a chance to face me because he was scared. But his replacement is Old Man Tup of his new Pittsburgh Piratatars. Now, you might be new to the league, Tup. You might be new, and you might be a frail old man, what with your hip replacement and whatever else you have. But don't think I'm going to take it easy on you. Because the only way you can be introduced into the PPL is to lose. So I really, really hope you lost your first game this week. Just to give you a taste of what's going to come in week 6. So you're not too surprised when it does happen. So I'll see you all in 2 weeks after the week break when we're going to be facing Old Man Tup in the Pittsburgh Piratas, and we're going to get a big win. So I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Now get out of here.